Good morning, everybody. Sam here, Not People's TV. I'm in a good mood today. Don't know why. It's bloody freezing outside. I know why. It's Friday. Football's going to be back on Monday night. Yeah, I know it's Monday night, but you can enjoy the weekend. You know I can't ruin your weekend. Will I be as happy when I'm here on Tuesday morning? Well, I really hope so. We're going to run through all the latest United news, just like we do every single morning. I am going to speak about Ruben Amorim's latest interview with Premier League Productions, and Ruben Amorim speaking about how he has changed. Might turn that up a little tiny bit. We'll also speak about, surprisingly, Elliot Anderson. I think this is going to be a repeated conversation that we probably have a couple of times a week now, ideally until we sign him. Speaking about my Casemiro video yesterday. Also, quite a lot of news coming out of the club. Fixture changes, something on the new stadium, and some other stuff. And as always, we'll preview well, not always, but we're going to preview the Everton game. Going to get the poll up. I wonder what the result will be of the poll. We'll find out. All right. Let me know where you're watching from. Later, we'll get the map out. Should be a good show. And let me say hello to everybody. Good morning to Josh, to Alex, to Carl, to Steph. Mods, plenty of blues down here in the chat. And if there's any Australians here, and JC, I see you as well. Any Aussies about? Because tell you what, that's a hell of a start to the Ashes. Couldn't be asked to go for 4 in the morning, though. Sorry. We've got Rex, we've got Mr. Wood, we've got John, we've got Paul the Red, Baggio. Anyone else remember randomness? Baggio free kicks. I used to play that at school all the time. Press the space bar, 1 to stop the direction, 1 to choose the curl. Was it the curl and the power? Was it 3 or 2? Anyway, Roberto Baggio free kick. Oh, what game that was. And we've got some non-members. Nigel, we've got Bryn, we've got Dean Doyle, we've got Layden, and we've got Stevie Power. Good morning to all of you. Man United fan 123, you're Australian. Unlucky. Unlucky. How long has it been since England won an Ashes in Australia? Don't actually know. Must be a long time. Can I also say to JC, you absolute don, jumping in and gifting 50 memberships before the show even started. And yesterday, what was it? Was it Andre? I think it was Andre, who lives in Dubai, but South African. For you all to just come in here during this international break and to stick with us, to stick with me, and to join in every morning and to give memberships, man, honestly, I'm building this community, genuine community, and bringing all of, I suppose, like-minded United fans from around the world together. It is probably one of my greatest achievements. It was one of the things I'm most proud of. And the thing is, I know that better times are coming than what's been behind, so we can actually start enjoying ourselves rather than just like being traumatized together. Anyway, big up to all of you. Can I just say, it's cold as fuck. I've got jacket on. What we got? Jacket. We got t-shirt. We got vest under the t-shirt. We're prepped. We're ready for, man, next few months. First morning, we've seen ice outside. That's Carrington this morning. Woo! Woo! Chilly. Old Trafford on Monday night is going to be cold AF if anybody's going to the game. Let's run through it. Let's run through the latest news. Unfortunately, I need to take the mood from up here down there, man. The news yesterday that Manny passed away. Bassist from the Stone Roses. Now, even if I wasn't a United fan, I love the Stone Roses. I listened to way more Oasis when I was growing up. But I always had a soft spot for the Stone Roses. And of course, their connection to United. On Monday night, they better play This Is the One in full before the game. I mean, I'm sure they will. But it will be a sort of a poignant moment in Old Trafford. It's an iconic song for United. Stone Roses are an iconic British band. And Manny was an iconic bassist in Primal Scream as well. So the sad news yesterday that he passed away. I was listening to Radio 6 this morning. They always do something called, what's it called? Cloudbusters. 7:30 in the morning, they always play a random tune. Man, I've woken up to like hard techno. But at 7:30 this morning, what's his name? Nick Grimshaw, I think it is. Played the Stone Roses full album, the first album from '89. Played it in full, which I thought was a really nice touch. So if you've never listened to the Stone Roses, go and listen to them. Waterfall is my favourite tune. But yeah, it's terrible news. And I think it'll be a poignant moment and a powerful moment when this is the one is played at Old Trafford on Monday night. And yeah. Go listen to the album if you haven't. I actually listened to it yesterday myself. Captain T1, good morning to you. He's saying, grab yourself a copy, Sam. Haven't seen a live show in a bit because of work. Big up the chat and the UPTV team. Thank you very much, dude. I don't drink coffee. That's some water, though. There you go. Steve is saying, Manny was a class act. We'd see him in a local often when United were on, just in for a pint. It's cool, man. I think I've seen a ton of stories about Manny. Just like that, Stephen, just like regular stories. And I mean that in a complimentary way. Like, despite the success, he was still just kind of a United fan. He was still like somebody you could bump into at the pub sometimes. Right, let's run through the rest of the... Got quite a few little news stories to run through before we speak about Elliot Anderson, and then we speak about Ruben Amorim's interview. This is quite a significant bit of news. Now, just thinking out loud here, does this now mean that fans in England are going to need another subscription? Because TNT Sports will still have some of the... So TNT Sports have lost their coverage of the Champions League, which I'm totally fine about. Call me old school, but I wanted to go back to ITV. That was always the best... Hands down was always the best coverage of the Champions League. I know it won't actually go back to ITV because it's free to air and there's so much money involved in it. I think Paramount have paid north of $1 billion for this 4-year deal, I think. 4 year? I think it's 4 years. But just the commentators were just better. I just randomly thought about that. Does this mean that we're now going to need, in England, to watch all the bloody games of football, that you're going to need an Amazon subscription, a Sky Sports subscription, a TNT Sports subscription, and a Paramount subscription? I think it probably does, doesn't it? I don't know why. I just randomly thought that. It is so dumb how expensive everything. I went to, like, kind of separate to this. I went to see Tyler Childers in the O2. I like a bit of country. Actually, I like a bit of Tyler Childers anyway. It's so damn expensive. Like, there must be so many younger people who are just priced out of doing anything that they actually want to do, apart from just bloody staying indoors. Because it was like 16 quid for a double vodka and Coke in the O2. Taking a piss. The tickets were extortionate. Like, you're outpricing everybody from doing anything quite enjoyable anymore. Now we're going to have to pay for another subscription. Will Paramount's coverage be better than TNT? I don't know, maybe. Do Paramount own CBS, or is CBS a completely different network? Some games are on Disney, are they? Hey, mate, it's not just football-related things being expensive. It's just bloody everything is expensive. Absolutely everything is expensive. It's nuts. Yeah, and I saw that Sky got Europa League and the conference until... Is it from 2027? Until 2027. Either way, TNT have lost their European football, and I'm not upset about that. It's just crap how expensive everything is for everybody. And it's like the micro... I know it's a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a segue, but it's that... Instead of paying for one thing, you pay for the same thing, but in 5 different subscriptions. It's kind of the way to get more money out of the same thing. Derek, you're saying Paramount owns CBS. Well, in that sense, then you kind of know what's coming. We've all seen CBS with Micah Richards, Jamie Carragher, Kate Abdul. She's not called... What's the surname now? Can't remember who she got married to. Kate. And Thierry Henry. And it's more like... It's Americanized punditry. It's more about the laughter and the interactions that you get rather than the analysis. Not that you don't get analysis, but it's kind of not the preeminent and most important thing. that's how CBS covers football in America, and it really works. Wouldn't really work on English TV, so we'll find out. Hey, let's move on. Just want to say congratulations to the women's team who, if I remember correctly, are now going to be in the knockouts of the Champions League guaranteed because Vålerenga are playing, was it Paris? Yeah, either way. Despite losing to Wolfsburg this week, the women's team are going to be in the knockout rounds, which is fantastic for them. So a huge achievement for Mark Skinner's team. It'll be nice when the men are back in the Champions League. Will it be next season? Well, it's possible. It's possible, right? Not guaranteed. Let's move forward. As I said, loads of little bits of news to run through. We've got some more fixture changes. Joy of joys. 12:30 for Derby on a Saturday. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't remember it that many times. Arsenal, 4:30 on a Sunday. That's pretty normal. This is a Super Sunday game. And us against Fulham, 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Again, that feels pretty normal. Nothing to really complain about there. It's just some more changes. Yeah, the 12:30 Derby one. Not sure about that. Anyway, let's move on. And another bit of news. So, this got announced yesterday. £1 billion growth plan for Greater Manchester. It got announced. And this is the first bit of funding, not for the stadium, but for the surrounding areas. It's the first bit of funding into the Old Trafford regeneration project that we've had confirmed. I don't exactly know how much it is. I don't know what the split of that 1 billion is. Man United aren't getting any of this money directly, but for Man United to do this whole regeneration project, money needs to be invested around the stadium. We already know that. Now, the last update video we did kind of revolved around the freight terminal and the selling of said land, the ownership problem, the sort of the loggerheads, the war that, I say war, just the difference in price that United were having. Was it Freightliner? I think the owners. Adama, you're asking, what does it mean? It just means that there's a first bit of investment that's going into this project. Remember, this is going to be is it a £2 billion project just for the stadium? No, 1 billion. I don't remember. It was billions. It's bloody lot of money. Anyway, this is the first bit of announced funding. I mean, this is going to take a lot longer than I think United planned, right? A lot longer than United planned, but it's the first bit of funding. Speaking about the current stadium, as I said, loads of little tidbits of news here that I wanted to cover at the start of the show. United have got a lot of things wrong over the last few years, especially with matchday fans. Whether it would be cancelling away collections for European games and how that really kind of ballsed up the whole credit system because people just abused it, to other things they've done with unannounced ticket price rises last season and moving certain fans for hospitality seats. And I'm sure there's other sort of personal stories that you've got of bad sort of dealings with United. This is a really good thing, okay? So United have put in another 6,000 safe standing seats in the Stretford end. And they're going to be open for the Everton game. And it now means, down here, what's the total? Total number of rail seats in Old Trafford is nearly 14,000, or 18% of the total capacity. Now, that's bloody class, man. Like, for years and years and years, football fans argued for safe standing and how it was, to quote, safer. The government fought against it for a long time. But finally, I've only been to one game this season. I've been to the Brighton game. And my seat was so much better because we could stand. It's standing at it's such a more natural thing to stand at a football game. It really is. just in how you're watching it, you get more involved. You're more likely to chant. Do you feel more confident? I don't know whether you feel more confident or not. Saraj saying, will they still have seats behind safe standing? The safe standing still has the seats. It's just rail seating. So you still have all the seats are still there, but they've just got rails in front of them. So you can, if you want to, safely stand. It's the whole concept. I think it allows and encourages a better atmosphere. So while at the same time United are pushing ahead with this new stadium, and that's, mate, if I was to put a projection on this, what date is it? What is it? 2025 now. I'd be amazed if this was built before 2030. Amazed. That's how long this project is going to be. I'm going to be into my 40s by the time that this bad boy is done. Still be here, though. Anyway, if you go into the stadium on Monday, enjoy yourself. It's going to be cold. Get your hat on. Get your gloves. Right, let's talk. As I said, it felt like there was a lot of news, little tidbits I wanted to cover. I suppose that's why you join in. I try my best to, every single day, bring you all the relevant stories and the relevant United news to keep you bang up to date. Right? Drop a like on the video. Makes a big difference. Really does. Now, let's go on. Let's speak about Elliot Anderson. Let's speak also about the Everton game coming up and Ruben Amorim's interview. Now, Elliot Anderson, if you had asked me at the start of the season, would he have been my top choice? I would have said no. Adam Wharton was my dream choice going into the summer. Come the end of the summer, the buzz and the excitement was around Carlos Baleba. And my focus was on those two. Elliot Anderson, while he had an impressive bit of development at Forest, wasn't somebody I'd watched enough to know whether or not he deserved to be in that same sort of conversation. And after doing the 3 videos we did on Wharton, Baleba and Anderson, looking through all the research, my mind was a bit shifted. Before the Forest game, I was like, I'll tell you what, out of all 3 of them, Elliot Anderson looks like the most rounded of the 3 midfielders, both in and out of possession. Because in the modern game, maybe that's wrong, but maybe it's just how United are playing with our 2 midfielders. But our 2 midfielders can't really afford to be specialists. You can't really afford to have a specialist number 6 in this United setup, or a specialist number 8 who just focuses on going forward and is a playmaker. You need somebody who is great in possession and great out of possession, who does a bit of both. And that's where Elliot Anderson wins currently. Now, we spoke about this in the pod, which went out last night, by the way, on video if you didn't see. We're kind of testing titles and thumbnails on the podcast because we don't know particularly the right one to run with right now. So if you ever get confused as to where it is, that's because we're kind of in the experimental stage. Once we figure out and we go, that's it, then we'll be able to nail it. Is Elliot Anderson flavour of the month right now? Is the talk around him because he played well against United and because he's in the England squad and because we're just coming off the back of an international break? Is that why Elliot Anderson conversations are happening more often? I'd say partly, but also clearly, he's a very damn good footballer. And I think with the extra attention that's going to be on him now, it'll be interesting to see how these next few months go. You know, I suppose in the same way that after the attention that went on Carlos Baleba, we saw what happened with him. Now, that doesn't completely rule me out. I'm not saying, Carlos Baleba would be an awful signing, because I wouldn't say that at all. I wouldn't ever just, again, this is something I've learned myself in the hard way, because of what happened with Onana. I can't possibly look at how a footballer plays at another football club and just think that's going to be exactly how he plays at my club. Because Onana, I thought we were going to get that player that played at Inter. You know exactly what happened. Sweet FA, nothing like that whatsoever. So despite the fact that Carlos Baleba's in some bad form, it doesn't mean that I think that if we sign him, he's going to play like that. There are some concerns I have, and I think we all have. But Elliot Anderson, there's just some more stories coming. This is from the Times, from Paul Hurst. Just kind of following on from everything that's been said. And just, I suppose the noise keeps getting louder. We'll read through the article here. Saying United are tracking Elliot Anderson before a potential summer move. He's viewed as a possible replacement for Casemiro, but United face competition with Liverpool and Newcastle also linked. By the way, Newcastle are not wrong one, Newcastle are not going to be signing him. They sold him maybe because of PSR. I don't know. Was it just PSR? It probably was certainly part of it. Probably don't overspend then, lads. Like, clubs have a go at PSR. Like, be like, oh, PSR is... Like, just spend within your means. Don't spend 96% of your club's turnover on wages and be surprised that you might be breaking some rules on spending capabilities. That you might be putting yourself in an unsustainable position. Like, bombshell moment. Bombshell moment. Let's read through the article. United are monitoring the progress of Elliot Anderson before a potential summer move. We know that. Since joining from Forest, he's become regarded as one of the best young players. He's 23? I thought he was 22. I don't know. Who cares? 23 then. Started 5 England's past 6 games. Forest paid 35 mil. Yep. Newcastle, who are forced to sell him to avoid points reductions, are interested in re-signing him. They ain't getting him. Liverpool, really? It is unlikely that United will bid for Anderson in January. Forest will not entertain an offer either, but they know that they will have to fill a hole in the midfield because Casemiro is likely to leave. And that's a kind of an interesting talking point that I want to follow on from, because I did my video yesterday on Casemiro. Now, I did my video, I think it was last month, where I said I do not think that United should be giving Maguire and Casemiro new contracts. What's happened in that month since? Like, Casemiro's form has just kind of been fantastic. Does that change my opinion on that? And I ran through that in yesterday's video. Neville down there saying if PSR existed 20 years ago, neither Chelsea or City would have a fraction of the trophy. Yeah, that I completely agree with. And that's where I will sympathise with Villa, or even Newcastle if you want to, about the fact that they kind of have their hands tied in ways that clubs didn't before. But just because they made a mistake in not doing it early enough, it doesn't mean that I think they shouldn't do it. Those rules should have existed right at the start. But they didn't. You might say the horse has bolted. But no. Sod that. Stop others from doing it, man. Try and nip it as much as you can. You might say that kind of closes off the competition, but it doesn't really look like it's closing off the competition, because look at the Premier League. Look at the teams outside the traditional top 6. Look at the league this season. How many points are there between 2nd and 10th right now? Like, that gap, the middle of the Premier League has got so much stronger. But anyway, yesterday, I did my video on Casemiro. And I said, look, if there's any hypothetical way that he stays at this club, which I don't think there is, but the only way it works, I think, for Manchester United is if he takes, I'm talking like north of a 50% wage cut, which is why I kind of think it's unreasonable to expect. I imagine you got, I know we can't relate to it, because if we got a 50% wage cut, it would kill you. But if Casemiro gets a 50% wage cut, he's still on 150 grand a week, so not really. But I think he'd have to take 150k plus of a wage cut per week and only sign a 1-year rolling contract. Now, regardless of what happens with Casemiro, by the way, I really hope that is something that Man United bring back in. That used to be a club policy. Happened with Carrick. Pretty sure it happened with Giggs. Happened with Sky. Happened with our best players. 1-year rolling contract. If you play well enough, you'll get a year on top of that, dude. I don't know whether he'd sign that. Maybe he would. Maybe he wouldn't. But Paul Hurst is saying that it's likely that he leaves United. And I still feel that is likely the best choice. Now, could I see value? Not value. That's the wrong way to describe it. Could I understand if United wanted to keep Casemiro from an experience perspective, like a role model and a mentor? Yeah. But do you pay 150 grand a week for that? Because what we should do, right, we should be signing 2 midfielders. So there is, I suppose, a chance that Casemiro next season at United could just play once a week in certain games and then once a week Casemiro has been significantly better this season. It's not a coincidence. He's having more time to rest, and he's got the World Cup coming up. Both of those things combined are creating a far better set of circumstances for Casemiro. And also, I think Ruben Amorim's using him a little bit differently. Let me see what you're saying down here. And saying his best chance of staying on similar salary would be to go to Saudi. Obviously. But I don't know whether I would... Kind of part of me thinks that Casemiro would be in the Bruno category when it comes to Saudi. I don't really think... Like, it doesn't matter how much you offer Bruno. I don't want to play football in Saudi Arabia, dudes. Like, go away. My ambitions are different than that. The money isn't that important to me. And also, I'm stinking rich already. What are we saying down here? Someone down there. But one of the two between Casemiro and Bruno has to leave. If both can leave, then it's better. I think there's a possibility that both leave. I really do. I don't think either of them will be forced out of the club, but last summer we had a big shift. There was a lot of outgoings. And I think the club took a lot of compromises on how much we'd take for players like Garnacho just to make sure he's out of the club, or Sancho, or Rashford, or anything like that. And then the Højlund situation, quite a lot left. This summer coming up, I think there's like, even just saying three names here, Casemiro, Bruno, and Shaw. You're looking at the best part of a mil a week. So what? Let's be like loose on this, and let's just say Casemiro's on 300. I'll go to the lower end of what he could be on, but say Casemiro's on 300 and Bruno's on 200. Shaw's on. Is Shaw north of 200? Thereabouts. 750. Man, this summer, the amount of money that we could gain on wages could be just insane. Look, if Casemiro stays, then it has to be on a significant wage cut, and it has to be on a 1-year rolling deal. And I don't know if those circumstances and those what's it called? Conditions will be something that Casemiro wants to agree to. We'll find out. But are we going to get any paydays from the ones on loan? Sancho's going to be gone. Højlund, we're getting, what is it, 40? Is it 40 mil obligation? Best part of, I don't know when that would come in. I don't think that would come in straight away. I doubt it would be in like one thing. Someone speaking about Gehi, we spoke about him earlier, right? Yeah, Ian, I think that's pretty fair. Saying next season depends on United being in Europe. Of course it does. United can't go 2 seasons without European football. Like, this is our first season in 10 years without European football. We can't do 2. Nah, we cannot do 2. Will we be ready for Champions League football? Well, I don't quite know that. But I'm very, very bored of playing Europa League football. So I don't really want to see that again. Richie talking about if Bruno stays, we can say goodbye to Kobe. I wish I could disagree with that, but I probably do agree with that. I don't think it's going to be... I think United need to loan Kobe in January, because I don't think the circumstances are going to change in the second half of the season. Like, you could talk about AFCON this and injury there. Like, Kobe just hasn't had enough opportunities this season. I doubt that's going to change in the second half of this season. So if United are planning, and it's full planning, future planning, and it is Kobe to walk into Bruno's shoes when he leaves, then that's something you approach in the summer. Casemiro will be good for Europe. Hey, look, I know you could tell me about positives of Casemiro staying. I'm not completely against it. Just as I explained in the video yesterday, there's only one circumstance I think it works for United. And I don't know whether that'll be something that he agrees with. Right. Let's move on and let's speak about this man. Semenyo. Again, I already covered the Semenyo story when it happened earlier this week. I think we did a full story on him. Just on the reports that were happening, the fact that he had a 65 million release clause, the fact that United went in with a 50 million bid for him in the summer before we signed Mbeumo. We clearly wanted him. Would we go back in for him? And you got Ben Jacobs saying that United, there's nothing financially that's stopping us going after him. I still don't really think that would be the best use of money for United in January. But this is what Fabrizio's saying. The release clause to get Semenyo in January is worth 60 mil plus 5 mil in add-ons. And look what it drops to in the summer. 50 mil. Random question here. Right? Which of the two scenarios do you think Bournemouth would prefer? Number one, selling Semenyo in January for 65. Or number two, selling him in the summer for 50, but after he's then stayed at the club for another 4 or 5 months. Like, how much? I think my question here is how much ambition do you think Bournemouth have in the second half of this season? I mean, they could get European football, right? Could get Europa League spot. How much would that be worth to them? That be worth more than 15? I don't particularly know, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know, like the price funds and how much that goes. Danny saying summer if they get the Champions League. Bournemouth would prefer to sell in the summer. Quite a few of you are saying, most of you actually, are saying sell him in the summer because he's their whole team. Bear in mind as well, you know what's really impressive about Bournemouth is they lost Howson in the summer. They lost Kirkes. I swear they lost their other centre-back as well, and their captain. They lost like 4 or 5 of their main players, and Iraola has somehow improved that team. Semenyo is a big part of it. I tend to think I agree with the majority of you. You would wait until the summer. I think they would. It's January is always a hard January, but a January in a World Cup year, it's just that much worse. Who's Semenyo play for? Is he Ghanaian? Semenyo. A Ghana at the World Cup? I can't remember if they qualified or not. Oh, speak about Everton next. Kerwin saying for clubs like Bournemouth, 15 mil is worth losing to gain 1 or 2 spots in the table. I don't know the difference in prize money in that sense. I don't think Semenyo goes in January. I don't think Bournemouth will want to sell him in January. So if he's only 50 mil in the summer, mate, think about that. Semenyo's available for 50 mil in the summer. He is going to have everybody knocking on Bournemouth's door. Everybody. Probably including United, even though on paper, am I looking at that signing as the ideal one for us? I don't quite know. Right. Let's move on. Let's get the poll up here. Come on. Start a poll. Predictions, people. Everyone says, so Ghana is at the World Cup. Well, then you wouldn't sell Semenyo in the summer. You wouldn't sell Semenyo in January, would you? Get your predictions in. I wonder what the result of the poll will be. Anyway, United are playing Everton on Monday. And we're going to be favourites going into the game. We're likely going to have more possession than Everton in this game. I would say that Man United's best performances have actually come in games where we've had less possession. But can this be a game? Like, I think against Brighton, we were really happy to give Brighton the ball. This is how I felt watching it in the stadium. We kind of stood off them a little bit, but it felt like out of choice. Rather than like we didn't have the energy to press. We were like, that's right, you can do that. We're not going to win that. If we try to press you here, you'll probably play through us, which is exactly what happened in that game. It was under Ten Hag. when we dominated them for 10 minutes, and then they just ended up shifting their centre-backs really wide, and then they just played through our press. Everton is... Every game's a bloody big game for United. Not every game is a must-win game, because it's impossible over a 38-game season. I don't think United need to win this game. I don't mean that in a sort of negative sense, but we've just got an opportunity to be a very, very boring football club. Oh, that's what I want United. Be a very boring football club of these next 5 games. Give no media person any chance to even talk about us. Oh, United won 2-0 again. Oh, boring. Beat Everton. Yeah, of course they should beat Everton. Oh, they're playing Crystal Palace. Well, Crystal Palace is a little bit of a different game. But you got West. Oh, they beat West Ham. Oh, yeah, great, well done. Yeah, what, they're going to win the league now? Oh, what, they beat Wolves? Oh, great, well done. That's all I want us to do. Just bore the media. Exactly that. Vieira down there. Mimic that Sunderland game. That Sunderland game felt routine. You know what? Everton at Old Trafford gives me nasty memories. And was it 4-4? Oh, God, that was one of the worst ever. No, I'm not going to speak about that one. I think it was 4-4. I swear we were 4-2 up as well. That was a nuts game. Then we lost the league. Was that the year we lost the league in goal difference? I don't think we won the league that year. I think that game was a bit of a... Anyway. Well, just 95% of you think United are going to win. And I really hope you're bloody right. But let's run through... As much as I hate waiting until Monday, watching United in night games, I suppose just all you've got to do to watch United in a night game now is watch any game that kicks off past 4 o'clock in England. But a proper night game, under the floodlights, it will be an occasional Monday. And random. Here's a photo of Bruno in a Christmas market. Question to you. Anybody in Europe, what Christmas market would you recommend going to for like a little surprise weekend away? I'd like to do that in December. Nobody tell Susie. I haven't done a proper European Christmas market. I've obviously been to the Manchester one. I've been to any Christmas markets in Europe? I can't remember. But there's anybody in Europe down there, you go, this, like, my local Christmas market is the one. Get in the chat. I'd like to know. Palmer's broken his toe. I saw that. It's a bit random, wasn't it? Apparently had a freak accident and then broke his toe. Shame. Quite a few of you saying Germany, Cologne, Strasbourg. Where's Strasbourg? Take off, you say Munich. Brian saying don't come Galway. All right, good to know. Most of you are saying Germany, Vienna, Rome. I'm not going to the Manchester one. Man, that Manchester one is... Bruges. Ooh, I've been Bruges. I love Bruges. I love Belgium. Belgium's such an awesome place, man. Doncaster. Prague. Right, so we've got most shouts of Germany. So maybe we'll have a little peep at the German ones. Right, anyway. There's Bruno enjoying himself in the Christmas market. Bit random. There's Casemiro. Probably in his future... what do you reckon? Future role for Casemiro? Some form of... I don't even know what roles they got. I know they got a president at Real Madrid. But the players just... They finish international break and it looks like they got given maybe one more day off with the family. So I think everyone's going to come in rejuvenated in that sense. And my lunchtime... I'm not going to go the whole way to bloody New Zealand for a... Going to go to a Christmas market. Where are we going? Well, we've got to fly for 23 hours, but you'll enjoy it once you get there, all right? Adam, you saying went to Bruges a few years ago? Yeah, I probably would choose I'd choose Belgium or Germany, I think. I'll have a peep at the right ones. Just see if it might be possible, might not, because everyone's got their busy Decembers lined up, haven't they? But Ruben Amorim. I did my video. I'm more than happy to speak to anybody about why I lost faith in Ruben Amorim, why I did my videos, and exactly why I bloody titled my video, I am sorry, Ruben Amorim. Because I did not want to do that video. But I felt like I had to be honest. It felt like after the Brentford game, nothing was really going to change, that we were kind of tunnel vision down one particular very strict road, and if the players couldn't adapt to it, then it's going to be ride or die. What we've seen since is something different. right? And in Bruges, by the way. That should be down there, like, on the list of have to watch at Christmas films. It's not really a Christmas film, but it's cold. Home Alone, Die Hard, in Bruges. Right? Ruben Amorim, and I'm probably going to run through this in my lunchtime video, with some quite important quotes here about how he has changed as a coach. He says, look, I see things a little bit different. I had an idea how to play, how to build up in certain ways, and I changed that. Here, and you see this in the Premier League, we are really focused on data, so you need to change the way you do things to pay attention. Of course, you want to play in a specific way, but you need to adapt. That's probably the most important thing. But you need to adapt. You need to understand where you need to play more possession, and the way we win some game, and the way we win some corners to push the opponents. I'm so delighted that Ruben Amorim made light tweaks. That's all it is. I never wanted him to throw his system out the window. No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I never wanted Ruben Amorim to throw his formation out of the window. I'll explain why I've got this up there. Never wanted him to change the three at the back. There were loads of calls for a 4-3-3 and this and that. I'm saying, you don't need to do that. Because a formation and a system are two different things. And we saw that a lot. And that's why people started to look at how is it that Glasner plays three at the back and Crystal Palace play very differently to United. It's because a formation and the application of the formation, aka the system that you play, the way in which you play, that can be different. And that's what I think we've seen changes with. That's where I think the Ruben Amorim is adapting. I think ultimately how he played against Brighton is probably how he wants this United team to play. And there's one particular comment here that he actually ran through in his interview where he spoke about what happens when United they go 1-0 up. He goes, this is a mentality thing. I'm still trying to bloody get rid of this. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying the exact words here. But he's saying that basically when United go 1-0 up, the players in their head start thinking, right, okay, don't concede now. Whereas what Ruben Amorim wants them to think is, right, we're 1-0 up. They're on the back foot. They're vulnerable. Let's go for the jugular. Let's get that second. Let's get that third. Let's put the game out of reach. And all of a sudden, boy, the rest of the game's a lot easier. That's something that he openly is saying is a problem, has been a problem, is how United players view the game when they're winning. Rather than killing it, it's holding it. And that's like a natural instinct. The players sort of like recluse and kind of tighten up a little bit rather than open up and say, oh, the floor's ours now. Mate, JC, man. Let's get the elevator out, music out for JC. What's this one here? I've forgotten what this one is. Why did I play this one? I think I played that for Honest Lot. Big up to you, JC, man. I can't say big up enough. Like I really can't. You're a legend. One of the GOATs. Yeah, we are bloody terrible, right? We are bloody terrible in the second halves. But, yeah, that was for Honest Lot, wasn't it? I need to bring a soundboard back. I randomly found loads of little... Can I pull one up here? Oh. Well, you ain't seen that. That went on the wrong screen. Right. Let me try and pull this up. Shared. Where is it? There. Can you hear these? One sec. No, you can't. Damn it. I've got loads of Evra, Neville, Roy Keane, Ali McCoist, Cantona. I've got a little soundboard. I do need to bring back Barry. He's going to come out of retirement at some point. Right. Let me look back at the poll. Yeah, the interactive membership pop-ups, it kind of felt like they got a little bit too gimmicky. I think that's probably the way I would describe it. That's kind of why I pulled back on it. But yeah, I liked having fun. I always kind of think that these live shows almost are like interactive radio in a little way. I don't know if that's like the right way to describe it. But I definitely want to bring more, because if you listen to radio, they've got like effects they can put in, little voice mods, little clips they can go to, little soundboards. That's something I've always wanted to do more of, but I've never actually got around to doing it. Maybe I will. Right. Let's look back at this, and we've got nearly 500 votes. 95% of you are saying United are going to win. I hope you're right. My prediction, you heard it if it was on the podcast, and, well, I'll do my start 11 video. I'll probably put out tomorrow, because we're playing on Monday, so we'll have the whole weekend for it to exist. Okay? But it's Friday, so we know what that means. First of all, who's going out tonight? Where are you going? What are you doing? Let me know in the chat. Second of all, where are you watching from? The city and the country. We'll get a few of you added onto the map. Takeoff, you mentioned the arms, right? And I was speaking to Alex and Maddie about this. I think with the arms, what I might do is I might just join in the fantastic stages that Alex has started doing a while ago in the Discord directly, and joining in those voice chats, and then keeping it casual in there. I might do that. That's what I think anyway. Just to let you know. Mr. Smith watching from Baumholder. Not Baumholder. Anyone remember E-Baum's World? Miniclip.com? Yeah, come on, man. Bit of Sporkle. Everyone knows a bit of Sporkle. Bookmarker watching from Borneo. Never been Borneo. Susie has. Is Borneo Indonesia? That's in Rwanda. It's in Indonesia. You're on the map, sir. A shoop doob doob doob. We're going for maybe down here. Let's go one more. Ryan watching from Kidderminster. Oh, baby, let's get the best place in the world on the map. I've never been there. Oh, I have been, actually. My sister went to uni there. Worcestershire. Sorry. Accents were all over the shop this morning. Oh, Flash games. Now we're talking, man. There was that game where you used to have to, like, launch penguins. Remember that one? I didn't do much work at school. IT was always about just playing games. Probably should have listened. I'll be honest. Kids, listen in school, right? Then you won't just be stuck talking about United on YouTube all day and you have a real job. Thank you all for tuning in, everybody. I will be here live on Monday. Content for the weekend. I'm going to do something on Ruben Amorim's interview, a bit more detail, bring you the clips, all right? Where he's saying he's changed, and there's actually quite a few other things he says. Then I want to speak about the next 5 to 10 games coming up. Then tomorrow I have the starting 11 out. Sunday, I'm not sure what will happen on Sunday. Might put a video out, might not, because the game's on Monday anyway, so we'll find out. But have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Yeah, I was too busy launching penguins, right? Miniclip was the one. I hope you have cracking weekends, and I've said that many, many a time, but to JC, thank you so much, man, for gifting 70 memberships. Is so incredibly generous. All of you, please get in the Discord, because I promise you the Discord is getting some real attention now. More attention than it ever has before, and we're adding in new things. The thing I really want to bring to the Discord is some form of like a weekly trivia quiz that everyone can get involved in, and a leaderboard is held, and at the end of the month, whoever wins it gets a prize. That's something I want to do. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take it easy.